Hey there, it's Patrick Allman from StopDoingNothing.com with this week's episode of Stop Doing Nothing TV. I believe we're up to episode about 21 now. And if you haven't had a chance, look at the episode that we recorded last week, episode 20, where I talk about becoming obsessed with your business or with your focus or with your passion and the importance of being obsessed versus being just interested. That's a very important topic if you want to succeed at anything in life or in business. For those of you that have never watched before, this is a semi-weekly show, hoping to be more weekly, where I talk about the things you need to succeed in life and in business. I'm going to primarily focus on business, but man, I got a lot of life skills there for you too. I've lived a few decades. I know my stuff, and now I'm trying to share it with people like you so you can learn from my mistakes, make some better choices, better improvements in life, and get to success faster. I'm all about time management and success and focusing on what is needed to accomplish that. If you haven't had a chance, by the way, visit the website sometime at StopDoingNothing.com and read the articles and share the great ones there. And let me know via feedback in this video, via texting to me, which I'm going to show you how to in a second, and on social media, what topics I can cover for you to make you more successful in business. This week, we are going to talk about what I would do if I was starting my business over. I've been in business now for about 17 or 18 years. I think I went off on my own from Hertz in about November of 1998 is when I started my business. And so this is what, 2016? So I think this makes us 18 years in business coming up. There's my calendar right there. Yeah, wow. November, well, I've been in business 18 years, everything from software development to marketing and social media management, which is what we do now. And over those 2 decades, if it's okay with you, I'll call it 2 decades, I've learned a few lessons as to what things I would do differently going back and starting up. And I thought I'd share those with you today. For those of you that are maybe just getting started on business, or you're thinking about starting a business, or you're actually at a very difficult point in business and you're not really sure what to expand, what to work on, what to remove focus from, as well as to gain focus into. So let's talk about what I would do differently if I was to start my business over. Looking back on those cold winter nights in November of 1998, there's a couple of things come to mind. First of all, I would learn how to do better at sales. That'd probably be my first one. Sales and marketing, those two words right there are the lifeblood of any business. Learn how to sell, learn how to market, learn to get comfortable with shameless self-promotion, whether it's personal or professional, as long as you have something to value in this world. One of the things that's just really done well for me, especially probably over the past 5 to 10 years, is getting better at not being ashamed to talk about what I'm good at, whether it's marketing or sales or social media or public speaking or a particular business skill. If you share that with people, it brings in business. It will make people realize your value, and not only will they hire you, they will hire you at really, really great rates. Let me double check something here. At really great rates. So don't be ashamed to talk about what you do. And that's what you see a lot of on social media. You see me do it, you see other people do it, and there's kind of 2 sides of that fence. You see some people on social media put down and be naysayers against people like me who promote their services and promote their product. And I don't sell, but what you'll see me talking a lot about are things like this. What do I do well? What am I not ashamed to sell? And what can I do to help other people? You'll see me talk about that a lot on social media. I'm not the least bit ashamed about that. That's also why I got into public speaking, is because one of the best ways for me to spread a message about how to do things right and wrong. So sales and marketing. As a matter of fact, I even got a book recommendation on that we're going to talk about here before the end of the video. So sales and marketing is key to every single thing. Probably something else I would do differently if I was to go back and start a business all over is diversification. And by that, what I mean is get multiple sources of income as soon as possible. If I don't know who you are that's watching this, but I bet you I can make a pretty good guess is the majority of people that are watching this, they're going to be solopreneurs. And the reason they went into business, or the reason you went to business, excuse me, is because you were working for a big company, and then an opportunity came up for another company that wanted to hire you on a contract basis, and they were going to pay you very well, and you got all excited because here's your big break in business, and you quit the big company, and now you're a solopreneur, or a very small 2-preneur, 3-preneur, working as a contractor for another company, a big company that's paying you very well. They might be paying you 3, 4, or 5 times what you're getting paid by the other mega corporation. But that one company is your bread and butter. They are your life's blood. Your family and your entire existence is dependent on that particular company being happy with what you do every single day. And I'm sure you're great at what you do, but you need to realize that it's a very high risk. And that's something that for the longest time scared me, and I resolved that as quickly as I possibly could, is to find multiple clients, multiple prospects as soon as possible. That's again helps with the sales and marketing. The sales and marketing and the self-promotion is going to help you find multiple clients, and the multiple clients is going to lower your stress. How many clients should you get? Well, no less than 2 for sure. So your risk goes down, and then I like 5 to 10 clients before I really feel comfortable that a business can survive in case of a catastrophe. Because you got to remember that more than likely your business is dependent on somebody else's business, and somebody else's business can go, for lack of a better word, it can crash and burn at any particular point in time, and you don't want your family and your insurance and your mortgage and whatever to be dependent basically on somebody else. I mean, that's basically an employee. If you're an entrepreneur or a solopreneur and you have one client, you are still really just an employee. You didn't really gain any benefits. I mean, maybe in hours or terms or things like that. But you're still at the same risk, and that's one of the many reasons I really did quit my corporate job and go out on my own to run my own business, so I could diversify very much like a stock portfolio, and rest at night knowing that as I gained or lost individual clients, it did not affect the corporate income that much. That was just a huge driver for me. So as soon as you possibly can, diversify, get 2 clients, 3 clients, and keep track of where your risk is. Risk is oftentimes a dirty word in business, but I've come up with a spreadsheet with a list of my clients and basically how much one-off or recurring income I get from each of my clients. And then it shows me in the spreadsheet a percentage of my entire income, so I can look at the highest paying client and say my maximum risk for corporate income is this amount based on my largest client. Because you're going to have clients at varying price levels, and if you're anything like us, a service business with recurring income, then it allows you to instantly see your risk, and first of all who your most important client is, and where your biggest risk is, and who you have to keep happy, and also what's going to happen to your business. You can play out all these scenarios as to what's going to happen to your business if you gain out a big client or you lose a big client. So far we're talking about sales and marketing and risk mitigation. What else would I do differently? As soon as I got to a decent income level that could support another person part-time, I would have hired another person part-time, even an intern for free in exchange for college credit. I would try to figure out as soon as possible how to do less of the, for lack of a better term, the mundane business stuff, the invoicing, the accounting, some of the very basic parts of sales and marketing, office management, taking out the trash. I mean, I'm not above all that stuff, but whenever I'm doing that stuff, whenever I'm doing all the day-to-day management stuff of the business versus the selling or the actual service, I'm taking away from the quality time I could be putting into my business, and at the same time, I actually see it as I'm missing the chance to help somebody else. And I don't want to make it, again, I don't want to make it seem like I am beneath doing certain things, but I'm really good at only a very few things in this world. And again, that's the book we're going to talk about. I'm a big fan of the 80-20 principle with Richard Koch. You're only good at a very few things. So as soon as I had a decent amount of income, which was pretty early on in my business, probably within the first 6 months, we were doing very well. I would have hired a person, hire an accountant, maybe hire a bookkeeper. Those are 2 different things. Hire an office manager, hire someone to take care of the day-to-day stuff, to answer the phone, so you can focus on those 1 or 2 skills where you are really strong. So sales and marketing, and actually more about sales and marketing, diversification, and offloading the things you're not good at. And back in the sales and marketing side, something else I would have gotten really good at is networking. making sure as many people knew my face and knew my handshake and knew my business as soon as possible. And that's something you can do that for free in your own city. Go to, allocate some time in your calendar. You've heard me talk about time management and managing your calendar before. Allocate some time in your calendar on a regular basis to get out of your office and go around and shake hands and kiss babies. People in your city, in your local area, need to know that you exist. I came up with a phrase a while back that, nobody listens to the silent expert. You can be a great person at your particular technical skill or your particular strategic skill. However, if nobody knows about it, no one's going to listen to you, no one's going to think you're the expert, and in turn, no one's going to hire you. Being online on the internet is a great place to be, but there's nothing that beats a handshake and sitting over coffee or sitting over dinner and actually explaining to someone what you do, because that builds a relationship. And I got my real estate license a while back. I don't have it anymore. And one of the things that I took away from getting my secondary real estate license is something my broker told me, which is when it comes to real estate world, you make a friend first, and then someday you will help that friend buy or sell a house. So that's my philosophy now, is I am out to make as many friends as possible. I might tell them what I do. I might not tell them what I do. I will keep them up to date. I'll stay in touch with them. I'll go to conferences with them. I'll go out for coffee, drinks, and dinner with them. And, we might just casually talk about what I do. But what I have learned over time is that these people just call me out of the blue sometimes because they remember in the back of their head. They remembered, hey, I went to coffee with Patrick Allman, or I went to dinner, or I had drinks with Patrick Allman, and I remember what he did, and he's my guy. And then the most beautiful part about sales and marketing happens when you get that kind of call is that you don't have to sell anything. If you are building really strong relationships and the time comes to close business, it's almost like they're calling you up and they're writing a blank check because you have built that relationship. And building that relationship is one of the most important parts of business. Not thinking about all these other things I could talk about when it comes to kissing babies and shaking hands. But relationship building, just like sales and marketing, is a huge, huge part of building a sustainable business and also getting referral business, because those people that you build those relationships with are going to be the ones that are going to be more likely to refer you business also, because they have that relationship with you. And so I've done things like I've joined the Rotary Club, which is helping me build some really good relationships. There are just some other things that I do on my own to help build my network. Even on the phone, I do that a lot. Tell you the truth, one thing that's never helped me is any kind of organized formal networking. A BNI or the clubs where you go in and you drop a card and you're forced to sit down with 50 minutes for each person, or the kind of clubs where you go to when you join and you get points for referring more people in that club, and those kind of things. Any kind of formalized networking has never brought me any great business. It's just been me picking up the phone, calling a friend, calling a fellow business owner and say, hey, let's go out and chat for a little bit. You tell me what you do, I'll tell you what I do, and maybe at some point in time, we can refer each other in business in the future. So I'm not a fan of BNI clubs or any kind of networking clubs. I'm a fan of getting out, schmoozing, shaking hands, and that's how I built my business. Now let's see, we've talked about sales and marketing, we've talked about diversification. What else would I do differently if I was starting my own business? I might consider partnering up with somebody who was really strong in another skill set that complemented my skill set. I've always been very strong in the technical areas, and I'm getting stronger in the business management areas. But I might find someone who was more creative person than me to basically bring that person into the business earlier to help balance out my stoic, binary, logical side of my brain. Balance out that with a creative person versus me. What else would I do differently if I was starting up in business? Oh, the last thing, and this is going to be probably a future video dedicated to just this topic, is getting better at public speaking. I've always been a decent public speaker, and I don't know where that came from. I don't know if it was some early acting classes, or if it was just I've never been smart enough to be afraid to be in front of an audience. But I've always been a technical kind of person. And for the most part, technical people don't do well in front of audiences, and this is a huge generalization, but technical people sometimes can be antisocial people, and I've been that way before. Just put me in a cubicle and let me kind of hunker down with my computer and just throw me food. I've been that kind of person before, but at some point in time, I picked up some public speaking skills, some halfway decent public speaking skills, and then I expanded out with Toastmasters and then joined the National Speakers Association, and all those skills, all those public speaking skills have done amazing things for my business. They have shown people that I am the expert, that I'm willing to stand up in front of an audience, that I'm willing to get on camera or make a podcast or speak at a conference, which I do as much as possible now. And those things also bring me in a great amount of business. And again, by standing up in front of an audience with great public speaking skills and talking about the stuff that you know and that you know well, you are building trust. And once people trust you and know you, they're going to be more likely to buy from you. And again, it's going to be an easier sale. So become great at public speaking, become great at focusing on your audience and making sure that you can help them by bringing value and sharing that value with them to make their businesses better. Okay. Those are the top 4 or 5 things that I would do differently if I was starting my business. If you want me to answer other questions about business startups or basically how to do things on the cheap, go ahead and contact me on social media, either on YouTube or on Twitter or on Facebook. I'm all over those social media platforms. And you can find me, Patrick Allmond, A-L-L-M-O-N-D, all over those. There's probably something up on the screen right now to show you how to get a hold of me. Also, be sure you follow and subscribe on all those. Follow me on Twitter. Go like the Stop Doing Nothing page on Facebook, and go subscribe on YouTube. That's very important also. And don't forget to search for Stop Doing Nothing in the iTunes store to subscribe to the podcast. And as always, if you want to send me questions, leave them on social media, or you can text me if you're in the U.S. Area code 405-251-2022. That's area code 405-251-2022. Text me your questions. They will show up right here on my big badass iPhone, and will give me the chance to respond to you directly. I also like to end with a book recommendation or slip a book recommendation in there somehow. And this is my book recommendation for you today. This one right here. Can you see it? So you can see it? 80/20 Sales and Marketing by Perry Marshall. Perry Marshall is on my bucket list to meet because he's an incredibly intelligent person. This comes from the 80/20 principle that Richard Koch put out a while back. And there is just so much goodness in the book. I can't even believe it. But what this gets to is what I've talked about before, about being obsessed with doing the right things right and offloading the other stuff. And again, about focusing on that 20% that's going to take to generate 80% of your business, and then leaving that other 80% to somebody else who's an expert in that particular area. You know, if you have an office, there's somebody who's really good at organizing files and accounting and managing an office, and you don't need to be good at that kind of stuff. You need to be good at whatever technical or strategic skill it is that you have. I have bought one book on audible.com. When you sign up for audible.com, you get one free book. This is the one book I've bought, and I listen to it over and over and over again in my car. And again, Perry Marshall just covers some great things about how to hire people inexpensively, and how to find good salesmen inexpensively, and how to filter out people using this, so you make sure you focus on other people's 80/20 also, in addition to your 80/20. So here we go. 80/20 Sales and Marketing by Perry Marshall. It is, how many pages? It is about 220 pages, but if you're not a big reader, go get the book from audible.com and listen to that over and over and over again. Thank you for watching Stop Doing Nothing TV with Patrick Allmond. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and Facebook, and send me your ideas for future episodes. Take care, and we'll talk to you again soon.